Hello. So here we are, I guess number 15. Um, so, old friends. Interesting thing. A lot of you probably have had this where on Facebook you start, maybe out of boredom, maybe out of whatever, you start looking up random names from your past. And you end up with like a shit ton of people on your Facebook that back in the day you were really good friends with, that and I'm talking like not just someone that you passed in the hallways at high school or whatever. Like in my case, people that were an everyday part of your life at one point, and then over the years you just lost touch. They moved away, you moved away, but you end up with all these people that you almost never talk to, but they're on your friends list. And then periodically, for whatever reason, you two just start talking again. I find it so amazing, and it's one of the things like everyone's always like, yeah, Facebook's evil, Facebook's nasty, everyone can stalk you. Yeah, if you're one of those people that lives on Facebook, and I'm talking like seriously, some people on Facebook, they update every time they pass gas. Oh guys, guess what? I took a shit. Um, that gets annoying. And I'll admit, when I first started Facebooking, um, yeah, I kind of did it first because it was, oh, this is new. I was a MySpace whore. Um, I was all about MySpace. I was against Facebook when it first started because I thought MySpace was so cool. But then the evolution of the social network happened, as is inevitable, and MySpace became a cesspool of pop-up ads, MTV, um, girls with their tits popped out messaging me saying, "Hi, I want to be your friend." Yeah, look at the preference and the orientation. But MySpace became this just fucking just disaster. And I was against Facebook. And when I first started, I was like, oh, okay, I can see the potential this has. It was the simplicity of it that actually appealed to me. But anyway, I just find it absolutely intriguing sometimes how you can reconnect with people on Facebook. And I think I heard the boy come in. Um, but it's just kind of random, like you might be having a crappy day, you might be having a boring day, whatever, and then randomly you can just look at a status update of someone and you comment on their statement. And what I'm getting at is, in my case, I commented happy birthday because Facebook has that like happy birthday thing that tells you when people's birthdays are. And I'm one of the people that, like, if I see someone's having a birthday, I'll generally comment, say happy birthday, what's up. And I commented on my friend Kirsten's photo, on her update. Kirsten and I were like really, really, really good friends in middle school and high school. She ended up moving away, I think, at some point during high school, but we were really close. Back in the day, there was this group of girls, and it was me, my best friend Wendy, my best friend Melanie. He really wasn't my best friend. She was kind of like a mutual friend between me and Wendy. But then there were Zoe, Kirsten, and Jana on top of Wendy and Melanie. And I kind of put myself in this group of friends because I was really friendless in middle school. I was the dork, I was the fag, the nerd, whatever. Um, Wendy loved writing notes, and I randomly just one day I had found out that so and so had dumped so and so, and I wrote Wendy this note and like passed it to her class, and thus began a friendship that has lasted to this day. Um, but anyway, what ended up happening was I got introduced to this group of girls, and we became really, really good friends. And Kirsten and I were really, really good friends for throughout most of the beginning of high school, and then she moved away. And we hadn't really run into each other that many times since high school, and she had moved. We hung out a few times, but it's inevitable when a person is removed from the equation of your daily life, you lose that constant contact, and it, as much as you want to say, hey, let's keep in touch, they get a new everyday life. They get a new everyday group of friends, And her and I hadn't talked in ages, and we didn't really reconnect too much, but it was really funny because, I contacted her, I was like, happy birthday, and she said, I miss you too, more than you know, and we ended up chatting on Facebook, and it was like perfect timing because she just gotten kind of screwed over by this guy, and it's just so funny how even after like 10 some years, I was right there for her, just like I would have been back then. And it happens periodically. That's one of the things that I like about social networking is connecting with people that before this technology existed, you might be able to, do the Yahoo or Google search of them. You might, be able to track them down, through a friend of a friend. But it's allowed me to reconnect with so many different people. I mean, I'm talking people that, like, were only in my life for a short amount of time, but I remembered their name. Didn't have a phone number. I remember a time when if you didn't remember the person's phone number, you were kind of fucked if, their name was like John Smith, you know, because there was really no photo database you could look it up. You know, if you had a friend named John Smith that moved away, and this was before social networking, well, you were kind of fucked. But no, once in a while I play the game of, like, who can I find? Like, someone will come up in my mind as they randomly do, and I'll remember a time in my life, and, you know, I'll just punch their name into Facebook and see who comes up. And I've reconnected with a lot of really awesome people that had a really big impact on my life, like Kirsten. She was one of my really close friends, and we went through a lot together in middle school, you know, and what part of high school we shared together. And it's awesome that we were able to get back in touch, because we got back in touch originally through Facebook last year. And I've had people seek me out, and it's one of those things that just kind of makes my day, because I know that before the social networking and all that started, when I moved back from Seattle, like, I really longed for a way to keep in touch with people. And there were a few different ways, but it wasn't until, like, Facebook and that all started gaining headway and, like, becoming popular, and everyone started doing it, that, you know, I discovered this amazing ability to track down people that I hadn't talked to in years. And it just kind of made my day-to-day. I mean, even though it was yesterday, I think we talked, even though it wasn't on the best topic, like, she was having a shitty day, it was, you know, I had the ability to be there for a friend that I hadn't been able to be there for in a long time, because we'd lost touch, and we reconnected, and there I was able to be there for her. So it just kind of blows my mind sometimes how much, you know, we take this technology that we have for granted. And it's one of the things, like, from blogging and all of that, just the amount of networking I've been able to do through YouTube and all that stuff. It just really amazes me, the amount of connections that I've been able to make, and it just kind of reminds me why I'm doing this. You know, I'm doing this to get my name out there, but I'm also doing it so that people who do care about me and that want to keep up with my life and don't want to know what's going on, you know, they have a way of searching, you know, Vincent Hatcher and finding my name and finding the YouTube channel, and they can be like, oh my god, that's what he's been up to. Dressing in drag and talking in a Midwestern accent. Yeah, and, you know, I'm also doing it because eventually one day when I'm gone, hopefully these videos will still be here, you know, so I'll have my own little, like, legacy, and it allows, you know, those friends that know I did this, that, you know, they're like, oh, Vinny, he was awesome, whether it's after I'm dead, or, you know, I move away and I lose touch with somebody, you know, some will be able to be like, yeah, I had this friend, he was really awesome, he was like this, blah, 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 blah. And I know that may sound narcissistic and arrogant. I'm not trying to toot my own horn in any way. What I'm just saying is, and I hope you get it, it's kind of like my legacy would be that, like, there's these memories of me encapsulated on screen in the TV or in the computer, and, you know, years from now, I'm going to watch these. I'm going to look back, as long as YouTube's still around, you know, and I'm going to be like, holy shit, you know, there's your dad when he was younger, if I ever have kids, you know, or there's me when I was 31, and look at me now, I'm like 50 and 60, look how hot I was, you know, whatever. But yeah, that was just the random thought that came to my head today, so see you tomorrow. Actually, I want to hear about your guys' connections, because I haven't really been asking you guys questions and, like, commenting requests and all that stuff. Like, tell me about people that you've reconnected with, whether it was good or bad, or what you like about the technology, because I think it can be awesome, but it also does have its downsides, you know, like the haters, the trollers, and all that crap. But yeah, tell me about it. See you tomorrow.